you tell I'm in denial?
You can't stay at the top forever.
I was also very surprised when I looked at my phone and saw Joe Girardi dismissed.
Well, I think mine were with common sense.
I think now belongs in the all-time greats top 10.
Boston, I really think only got to this point because of a guy named Chris Middleton being out for the Bucks.
That power play just was unbearable. It was humming.
Man, am I happy. I knew that this was going to happen. I knew he was going to come back.
When I think of New York Yankees now is Judge, probably people in the past when Jeter was coming up.
I would be shocked. A little bit hurt.
Hey, this is Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, TexasFootball.com, and Valley Sports Southwest. You are listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NFL Opinions of the Week. The draft is only less than a week away. There's 2 days as we are posting it, but any big trades have not happened for us yet as we are recording a little bit before the draft, a couple days ahead. But if there was going to be a trade, it'd mostly be involved with a quarterback. And Austin, I'm kind of getting vibes of the Kenny Pickett, Will Levis draft. Just kind of how these quarterbacks are viewed as.
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying, but they're going to go a lot higher because in that draft, Pickett was the first one taken. He was like the 24th pick, correct?
Yes, yeah, he was the first quarterback taken, and it was to the Steelers who needed a quarterback. And similarly, they're in the same situation now as the Rodgers thing has continued to kind of delay itself. So, yeah, like Cam Ward as a quarterback is expected to go number 1 overall to the Titans, who need a quarterback. But Cam Ward is an interesting prospect because he was at Incarnate Word, which I don't think is a Division I school.
It's not. Well, it's Division I, but it's not FBS.
FBS. And then he has a great year at Miami, but I do think you have to be a little bit concerned with him just having one great year at Miami, and I do think he's a little bit older.
True, but those older QBs could have more experience to be able to start sooner. I feel like younger QBs kind of have to sit and wait. Now, I'm always a proponent of sitting and waiting, no matter how long the QB was in college. But just because you're an older QB, I don't think means you're necessarily shouldn't go as high. But I get your point with that.
Yeah, and so Cam Ward looks to be that. Then you have Shadur, and I don't think Shadur is bad, but I don't know how I feel about him going top 10 or top 15. I think there's a lot of question marks around him, and I think you kind of have to look at the baggage with with his dad and just kind of that media circus.
Yeah, that's true. Is there anyone you think is going to sneak higher?
So apparently like Jackson Dart, but I view Quinn Ewers. I feel Quinn Ewers goes in the first round.
You really think he does?
Yeah, I feel like he does because he's an interesting prospect as well. Like he's shown himself, he's demonstrated how he plays in the college level. He's not a bad quarterback, but I can see him being late in the first round. Like was Jordan Love a high prospect in the first round?
No, not necessarily, but also he had less time in college, so he was kind of seen as a work in progress. Yeah. Let me see if I can find a draft projection, but I see most people say he's going to go day 2, which is either the second or the third round. But I mean, you're right. I don't think a lot of people had Jordan Love going in the first round.
Yeah, like I can see the Rams being a team that wants Quinn Ewers because I think he needs some time, which is weird because he spent a lot of time in college. Played a lot of games in college too. So, yeah, so I think my ranking right now, I haven't looked at Jackson Dart too much, but it's probably Cam Ward, or how I think it goes, Cam Ward, Shadur, Jackson Dart, then Quinn Ewers. And I think that's pretty much it. I think there are a lot of quarterbacks in the later rounds. It's just there's not a lot of top-tier quarterback talent.
But quarterback is still the most important position to a lot of people. And especially to winning. And people want to get that pick right. And because of that, they're going to there will always be QBs taken highly. I know that the Kenny Pickett draft, he wasn't taken too high just with the 24th pick, but I feel like that's a 1 in a million draft scenario. I think that it's going to take a lot for a QB to not go in the first round, right? Because it's such a high value position, and people are going to think that they're smarter than everyone else. So if there's people like to take risks on QBs, especially in the first round.
Yeah, and we've talked about just the benefit of taking a quarterback in the first round and that money aspect. And to me, you really see that with the Titans because the Titans are just a bad team. And so to me, I would just get the pick right, which is why I personally would go Abdul Carter number 1. But yeah, a lot of teams, and that's what depends on coaches too. It's that quarterback. It's really, do you have a quarterback? Are you getting something? And you have a new coach with the Titans, and he was kind of there to fix Will Levis, but it looks like they're moving off Will Levis. So, because to me, you're going to be a bad team no matter what, and I'd rather hit on other parts of the team so where I only need to get the quarterback spot right instead of drafting a quarterback then trying to build a team around him. But you really see that with it is a high value position among GMs. It's better for a coach's security if they have a good quarterback.
True, but it also could be the opposite effect to where if you get a bad QB, it could be the coach's undoing, even if he isn't a bad coach. I think we've seen that with Brian DeBall. Because I don't think people will consider him a bad head coach. I know I don't. But a QB situation that is poor, whether you drafted him or not, can definitely set a coach and a franchise back.
Yeah, I agree. And if you have that 1 year of a good quarterback, which they had with Daniel Jones, you're kind of committed to him. And that just didn't work out. I think Brian DeBall is a great guess. And kind of looking at a guy that just couldn't get it right, you look at Robert Saleh. I don't think he was a terrible coach, but there was just that circus with the Jets. And they didn't get right on Zach Wilson. And then they tried with Aaron Rodgers, and it just didn't work. And it cost Robert Saleh his job.
True. And I still think Robert Saleh would be an amazing head coach, put in the right situation. But the GM really does control that. Some coaches do make a lot of impact regarding drafts, but it's usually the GM and front office that make those choices.
Yeah, and with the GM, it's same important here there because then you're like, I have the quarterback figured out. Now I can spend money in other places. But it's really tough to build a roster when the roster is so bad. You have to really upgrade every position. You have to hit on your draft picks. And it's going to be interesting. I'm very excited to see where these quarterbacks go and then to see their rookie seasons or if they are sat down for a year. I just want to see how these quarterbacks play because I'm trying to think of I'm trying to think of an okay quarterback class where you're like, whoa, these are some pretty good quarterbacks and you didn't expect much from them. You can probably look at the Josh Allen draft, which involves Lamar Jackson. Baker Mayfield was number 1 overall pick. Looking back, that was a pretty nice set of quarterbacks.
What do you think about this draft class? Do you think it's going to be similar to that one?
No, I think it's probably going to be more similar to maybe Jameis Winston and maybe more like 2016.
With Goff?
With Goff. Because Goff isn't terrible. The same thing with Wentz. And then you have...
I think the Wentz injury really kind of derailed because he was the MVP really candidate.
Yep. Yeah, and just injuries. But like Goff isn't a bad quarterback. It's just, is he really worthy of that number 1 overall pick? Which I think you'll see in the future.
Yeah, I think the questions are asked, but I mean, Goss led the Rams to a Super Bowl appearance, and whether or not you think that's him or something else, not every QB in the league can do that, obviously. And he's been good with the Lions this past couple of years. We'll have to see if he's worth it. And I do think that this draft is going to be similar. It's really going to depend on, obviously, where they're drafted, and that's every single year. No one's a perfect prospect. It's going to depend on the coaches and how they're molded to play. But it really does matter this year where they go, and also whether or not the QBs are committed to the program. Because, I mean, we've seen bad organizations kind of ruin a QB, or at least their potential as well. We've seen that with, I'm not going to say ruin with Trevor Lawrence, but he's kind of, I think a lot of people expected him to start off his career a lot hotter. We've seen Andrew Luck. He was amazing when he played, but had a shortened career. So it's both on the QB and on the organization to kind of get it right in order for these QBs to have a long and fruitful career.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And yeah, we'll keep you updated on draft coverage and just kind of analyzing draft. Of course, we will have a mock draft and draft predictions. Make sure you're following us, and thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.